I'm chilling with Deacons, sipping on coffee, talking about things, working it out, helping with problems, trying to get you back on your track. I'm chilling with Deacons, sipping on coffee, talking about things, working it out, helping with problems, trying to get you back on your track. I'm chilling with Deacons. I'm chilling with Deacons. I'm chilling with Deacons. I needed to talk to somebody. I really didn't know who to call, so I asked my mom who to call. He told me to go to my phone. Your brother and father will call. Give them a ring, they answer. They give you my word, my answer. I called them for help, for some guidance. I really didn't know who to turn to. I needed somebody to work it out. My brother said, open your Bible up. Let's have a discussion and talk it out. Or you can just don't get caught sleeping and get up every Saturday morning and have coffee with the Deacons. I'm chilling with Deacons, sipping on coffee, talking about things, working it out, helping with problems, trying to get you back on your track. I'm chilling with Deacons, sipping on coffee, talking about things, working it out, helping with problems, trying to get you back on your track. I'm chilling with Deacons. I'm chilling with Deacons. I'm chilling with Deacons.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
All right, man. Welcome to Coffee with the Deacons this morning. So let me see who we got. Brother Dar, thanks for joining in this morning.
What's up, man, brother?
Appreciate you joining in this morning. Please put your name in the comment section, man, so we can know who's with us this morning. I can't see all the names, but if you can put your name in the comment section, that'd be awesome.
How's everybody doing this morning? How you doing this morning, Mr. Deacon?
Man, doing great, man. Doing great. Man, just always looking forward to doing this, man. I know last week we had to postpone. We were at the soup kitchen, man, volunteering with our church down at the soup kitchen last Saturday, so we weren't there. Kevin Sr., thanks for joining in with us. Man, we appreciate it. Yeah, good to have you this morning. So as everybody started joining in, man, and I'm trying to see some names here. Kevin is with us this morning. So as we can, peace and blessings. That got to be Brother Jaleel. He normally, that's how he normally greets us, man. So that got to be him.
That's his MO right there.
Yep, that got to be him.
That's him.
So let's see who else we got. Well, as everybody keep joining in, man, we appreciate it this morning. Just throw your name in the comment section so we know it's you. And so, man, this morning, man, we got a interesting topic this morning, man. We're still on our Dominating Your Realm of Influence Kingdom Agenda series. And so today we're talking about Nehemiah. We're talking about Nehemiah, and the title is Kingdomizing Your Community. Kingdomizing your community, man. So this is gonna be good, y'all. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. So Deke, man, before we even get started, man, how's everybody doing this morning? To Kayla, thanks for joining in. Justin, thanks for joining in. How's everybody doing this morning, man? Let us know what's going on, how your week been.
Yeah.
My week's been busy, as always, and so this week been busy. So, but man, we always want to make time for Coffee with the Deacons, man. This is what we do here. Yeah. This is what we do. J-Rod, yes, sir. And so this is what we do, man. Got to make time for Coffee for CWTD, right, Deke?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So listen, y'all.
Connecting with you all.
That's right. Please share this, share this, and throw up the hashtag CWTD. Coffee with the Deacons, throw up the hashtag. Once you share this, man, please, so we can get this message out to people. Sister Christy, thanks for joining in this morning. And thanks for joining in this morning. We got NTC in the house. So NTC in the house, y'all. So, yes, brothers. Yep. Continue to stay strong, Brother Dar. So some comments we won't see, Deke, because this is on my page here. So some of we won't see. And I'm trying to get the names on Coffee with the Deacons. So man, kingdomize your community, Deke.
Kingdomizing.
Talking about Nehemiah, man. So listen, coming out of Nehemiah, the 2nd chapter, verses 9 through 18. But I encourage y'all. Listen, it may take a few days, depending on how you read or study. But please, man, study that book of Nehemiah, man. Please study it, read it. Man, I'm telling you, when you look into it, man, it speaks volumes, man.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I'm telling you, man, when it talks
on how stuff goes,
that's it.
When it comes to kingdomizing your community, or
that's it,
and doing the will of God,
that's it, man. Indeed,
direct you to that point, it'll stir you up like it did him.
That's right. That's right, man. And I'm telling you, that's the key thing, Deacon. You said it, because we got to know. And Kevin Galloway Sr. said, "Tough week, but that's expected when you're dominating." And that's it. And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that, man. So because it's amazing that he said. It's amazing that he said that, because we're gonna get to that point later on. So without any further ado, Nehemiah 2nd chapter, verses 9 through 18. But we're going to be covering a little bit of chapter 1 and chapter 2, so we just had to kind of break it down a little bit. But let me read a verse from here. So let me get it pulled up here. Nehemiah 2. So the first number 9 says this. Verse 9 says this: "When I came to the governors of the province west of the Euphrates River, I delivered the king's letters to them. The king, I should add, had sent along army and officers and horsemen to protect me." So listen. It starts off with this. So we know that Nehemiah was the cupbearer to the king. So the cupbearer was a prestigious position, right? Everybody couldn't be the cupbearer, right?
No.
Because they had to be loyal and trustworthy, okay? So it was
dealing with the king. Yeah.
They was dealing with the king, and so it was a prestigious position, and it was a high end position, because number one, the people would try to assassinate the king through his food or through his drink or what have you. And so the cupbearer's responsibility was to guard that cup, right? And even taste of whatever the drink was it wine or whatever, before the king tasted, to make sure that it wasn't poison, right?
Right.
And so the king had to trust that cupbearer, because he was the man that said, you know what, you're between me and assassination, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And so he says, man, he was trusted and he was loyal. And so it was a high-end position. I'm putting this out there.
Right.
So the cupbearer not only had to show that he was loyal, the cupbearer had to show that he was trustworthy. His character had to show that he was trustworthy. His character had to show that he was loyal. So I'm closer with this, y'all. His character had to stand out from the rest, because the king will say, "This man is the man right here that is the one really who's watching out for me."
So what you said, D, is even if, like this king, I'm sure he had his own God. So even if people have their own God, you have to stand out in order for people to be able to trust you. That's what you pretty much saying.
Listen, man.
Got to be something different about you.
Got to be something different about you, man. Got to be. So when we look at what Nehemiah was representing as this cupbearer, right? And so you can easily look at the cupbearer like, oh, that is a cupbearer. He just carried the drink for the king. No, it was a trustworthy position, loyal position. So we got to understand that when this position, his character had to have stood out, right? And so we understand that even in the midst of this, so Nehemiah, as he was in this position, though, it was a high position. It was so he was in a good spot. So I want to point that out too. Nehemiah was in a good spot. He wasn't in a lowly position. No, he was in a good high-end position. I'm pretty sure it paid well. I'm pretty sure it came with some perks. So he was literally in a high position. But then some folks from Jerusalem, from the city, came and And he asked, he said, man, listen, how is it back home? You know, how is it back in Jerusalem? And they told him, man, it's bad, bruh. You know,
you ain't seen it lately.
Yeah, it's bad, man. Gates is torn down, they're broken down, the walls are destroyed, Gates was burned down, and he said, man, it's real bad. And so Nehemiah sitting there thinking like, oh man. And he was hurt to the heart. So he heard how the conditions back home or back in Jerusalem was horrible. And so he was hurt. So because of his character, his godly character, because he just said, man, you know what? Oh man, the people at home, because those walls, what we got to understand, represented security. It represented protection. It is even what it will say that the people was a reproach back then. Oh, look how your city is burned down and tore up. Don't this sound kind of familiar, my folks? Yeah. Don't this sound kind of
y'all ain't never dime over there. Yeah.
Yeah, don't that sound kind of familiar, our Flint folks? And but we got to understand this thing, man. Though Nehemiah was in a place of comfort, though he was in a place where he was good, right? And so, but still his heart hurt and mourned for what was happening in a city where his fathers was buried and their ancestors was buried. And so, and his heart was still hurting for that. Though he was in a good position.
He was in a good position.
Good position, man.
He could have kept it moving.
That's it, man. That's it. And so
but he didn't.
That's right. That's right.
How many times we ignore what's going on in our community because we good? I don't want to get off too much far off into that.
Come on, D. No, this is good.
That's what happens a lot of times, man. We ignore what's going on around us because we good, you know.
That's right.
We good. We able to feed our families and we able to move around freely and this and that, but we don't notice the things. We don't pay attention. We notice them. We don't pay attention to the things going on around us. All the chaos and distrust and unloyalties and all of that, you know, in our community, right where we live, you know.
You're right, man. You're right about it.
Some stirred him up. Some stirred up Nehemiah to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And in the end, do something about it, you know. So,
Deke,
I gotta stir you up, man, if your heart in the right place. So
you're right about it, Deke. Your
heart gotta be in it, though. Your heart be in it. Your heart ain't in it, you ain't gonna pay attention.
That's right, man. That's right.
You ain't gonna pay attention to the man in the mirror.
That's right. Debbie, thanks for joining in this morning. Brother Charles, thanks for joining in this morning. Mike, thanks for joining in this morning. And so, man, what we got to understand, though, even in the midst of this, man, even though he was doing well, so now we at this point where he go into prayer. So he goes into prayer at this point. This talking about in chapter 1. He goes into prayer, and first of all, making amends. Lord, we know that we in this position because we transgressed against you. We sinned against you, and he made those. He repented of that, man. He went to prayer and repented of that, and laid out everything, man. Right? He laid out everything before God. Now, God, did God know what he already was going to say? Yeah. But Nehemiah said, man, this is something that we have to do. And so, but he also caught up on God's promises. He said, but you said, if we begin to follow your instructions, if we begin to follow your commandments, in those that even has been dispersed, you will bring us back. And so Nehemiah went into prayer, man. And not only when he went into prayer, he began to make requests. And so we got to understand this thing, man. So Nehemiah did not just jump head first to this thing, man. He went into deep prayer unto God. And so we got to understand this thing. And yeah, prayer does work. And then often you hear people say, man, you got to put some legs on the prayer. You can't just be on your knees all the time. That's true. But we got to understand, though, but prayer is the prerequisite for action. Okay? Yeah. It's a prerequisite for action. So prayer precedes action, right? Yeah. And so we got to understand that once he made this prayer, we move into chapter 2. 4.5 months later, I might add, where God would then answer Nehemiah. Okay, so 4.5 months. So that what does that tell y'all? When you praying for something, and so if God has not given you an answer, keep praying.
Yeah.
Right. If God hasn't given, pray until He gives you an answer. And so, but we got to understand, Nehemiah was also in a position to pray unto God. So that's what we got to understand. He was also in a position to pray unto God because of his character. Because his character not only was favorable to the king, but his character was first favorable to God. Yeah. So when your character is first favorable to God, man, that favor will fall. I mean, I'm telling you, that's why I always tell you this, Deke. The scripture says this. I got to put this up there. Where is that? Right here. Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people.
Man.
so
I like that one.
So work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people, man. That's the New Living Translation version.
Means work without grumbling, work without complaining, do it without, you got to have a sincere heart to do it, and God will do the rest, man.
And we got to understand this, man. Wherever you're at, you can always hear us talk about this, and it's dominating your realm of influence, kingdom agenda. Wherever you're at, you have to, as Brother Kevin said, you have to dominate where you work. Yeah. Dominate wherever you are. Because number one, when you dominate wherever you are, that means you are going to stand out, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so we got to understand this thing, man. So when we talk about kingdomizing your community, you have to be that cupbearer on your job. You have to be that cupbearer of your family. You got to be that cupbearer of your community. You got to be that cupbearer, man, because we got to understand this thing. That cupbearer position was more than just a position. So it was because when we got to understand this, that's it. God will use wherever you are. It's almost like a strategic position, right? And so God will use you wherever you are and whatever you do to kingdomize. You got to kingdomize your job. You got to kingdomize your home. You got to kingdomize your church. You got to kingdomize wherever you are, man. So it's almost like this. Wherever you are, that's where God ought to be.
Man, exactly. Yeah.
And if y'all get that,
yeah,
wherever you are, that's where God is.
That's where God is.
Well, that's how it should be.
Yeah. That's it, D.
Come on. That's it. So that's the best. That's the simplest way I can put it, man. When you talk about kingdomizing, that means you're using whatever your ability is. I don't care if you work for a grocery store and you pushing carts, man. Use that. Kingdomize that. If you're a cashier, kingdomize that. You work in a shop, kingdomize that.
Yeah.
So, because God blessed us with this ability, man. Whatever that ability is, it says, I want you to kingdomize this. Yeah. In other words, you got to use this for the uplifting and the building of God's kingdom, man. That's what we have to use it for.
So when I go to work, I'm gonna leave God at the house, D. That sounds ludicrous within the
That sound, man, D. Come on, man. Listen, I don't care what you do. I don't care how small you think your job is. I don't care. Listen, I've seen, believe me, Deke, I've seen a lot of people miserable in their workplace.
Man.
Yeah. A lot of people. I've seen a lot of people miserable in their workplace, man.
Yeah.
And I think somewhere along the line, they have forgotten about why they're doing it. A lot of people do, just to make the money. That's true.
Right.
But we have to kingdomize where we are, man. And I'm telling you, that will not only will that give you a different focus and mindset of where you are, but now it gives you purpose in where you are.
Right. Like Kevin Senior said, you gotta dominate your realm of influence, man.
You gotta dominate, man.
You gotta dominate your realm of influence on people, man.
You gotta
regardless
dominate
of what your job is, regardless of what your title is, you gotta dominate your realm of influence. You got
That's
to.
it.
You got to. It'll do you well. It'll do you well. You'd be surprised how many people will look up to you and start following you. You know?
Man,
you'd be surprised. You know?
When I talk about being that cupbearer, we got to understand this, man. We have to be. If you're a janitor, be the best janitor. Janitors make a lot of money, so don't.
They do.
If you be the best, if you're a cashier, be the best. If you're a security guard, be the best. Listen,
you gotta be the best.
I'm telling you, man. I can't remember where I seen that, but I'll Coming to America. I'm gonna use this. This was a movie. I'm gonna use this. But my man took so much pride in his job. I think it was Louis Anderson. He took so much pride in his job. He said, "Listen, right now I'm washing lettuce. Soon I'll be on fries." And so he said, "I'm telling you, man." And then he says, then I'm gonna be on the burgers. And that's where the big bucks is going. He said, wherever you're at, man, be the best, man. I don't care what you do. Be the best at it. And believe me, it gets recognized because now you're bringing your character in the job, right? You're bringing your character in the play. If you're in the community, listen, if you just say, you know what, I'm just going to go through and just pick up trash. Boom. Guess what? At some point, that's a movement, man. That's a ministry. Be the best at it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to get noticed. Trust me. If nobody else notices it, guess who does? God notices, right?
God notices, yeah. I'm
telling you, man, this thing is so much that we got, y'all, but we can't cover all of it. That's why we did it a series, because we can't cover all of it. This is a quote we used last week. God has given you a domain in which you are to rule. You are responsible not only to defend it, but also to expand it. Man, don't allow nothing negativity to come into your space, into your workplace.
It's gonna try to get in.
That's it. Because look, if you don't even have to be a team leader. If you are just a worker, you say, you know what? Look, this is my area of domination. I'm going to defend this. So I'm going to defend my area. If I'm pushing carts, I'm defending this area. And I'm going to expand. In other words, I'm going to expand this thing to the point to where people are going to look at this and say, man, that dude is really doing his thing. You know, that girl is really doing her thing.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to really dominate where we are, man. And I'm telling you, because
like you say, even if you're a cashier or not, that'll keep people coming back. And then sooner or later you can be in position to encourage them as they come through the drive-through or whatnot.
That's right. That's right.
Because I for instance, this one cashier, she's a young girl. She real nice to me and the wife.
Right.
Know? But when she ain't there, we can tell she ain't there because the next cashier that be in her place is kind of rude and unfriendly. You know.
Right.
You know, and that make you be like, man, I ain't going around that time when she there because. You know, I don't want food with her with that attitude. But then when the other one is there, the bubbly one and the real polite one is there, you go spend all kind of money with her, you know.
Man.
You got to influence. You influence your surroundings, you know, in your workplace. So
that's it, man.
That's how we got to be. We got to be positive and not negative, man, you know. We got to be able to move with surety, man, and confidence, you know, that God gonna take care. God didn't put you in a position to lose.
That's right.
He always put you in a position to win, you know, even in your community.
That's right, man.
He gives you the weapons and the resources to win, you know. That's how he operates, you know.
You hit it on the head, man.
Yeah, that's how God operates. He don't operate in distress and fear and doubt. He don't operate with that, you know. That's the enemy. That's that other guy, you know. That's the one that want to keep you sitting on the bench.
That's right.
Yeah, that's him. You know, I ain't never been a bench member, D. So
that's it,
know
D.
what that look like.
Man, that's it, D.
I tell God I want to get in the game. I want to get in the game, coach. I need to get in. I need to get in the game and do something. I think I can make a difference for however many minutes you allot me. I think I can make a difference in this one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's it, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna dominate for if I'm in the game for 2 minutes, I'm gonna dominate them 2 minutes. Yeah.
That's it, man. That's right.
Dominate for them 2 minutes.
That's it. That's it, man.
If I'm in there for 30 seconds, I'm gonna dominate for them 30 seconds. I just need to get in the game, coach. Yep.
And so And so, Deke, man, just moving forward, man. So we now, as he's praying, and now he went before the king. The king said, "Listen, man, you've never looked like this before me.
Right.
You seem
bad.
Yeah, you seem out of character right now.
Yeah.
So therefore, he said, "What's going on?" And so Nehemiah goes on to tell him what's going on back in Jerusalem. And so basically, the king said, "Well, what is it that you need?" So then at this point, before Nehemiah even goes into that, he says he goes into prayer. And so as he finishes praying, then he began to tell the king his request, right? And so I wanted to make this note. So he goes to tell the king, if I found favor in your sight, if you send me to Judah to rebuild the sepulchres where my fathers was built, laid to rest, and pretty much to go back and rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I asked y'all this. So the king asked him how long he would be gone, right? And so Nehemiah gave him a time frame. So it's amazing how when you go into prayer, God will tell you exactly what he wants you to say.
Yeah.
So God will put it up on your heart exactly what needs to be done. Because when you read this, Nehemiah had not seen what the walls looked like. He just knew that they were destroyed and burned down, right?
Yeah.
So how would he know how long it would take to fix the gates and the walls? Only God. Only God. And so he didn't know how long it would take. But he gave the king a time frame and how long it would take. The only way he would know that is from God.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you, man, we a lot of times when we say, you know what, I know what needs to be done. No, go into prayer, man. Ask God's direction, because a lot of times you may under ask. We may under ask, you know what I'm saying? And so God will say, I'm going to tell you everything that you're going to need. When Noah built the ark, when we talked about the last topic that we had, guess what? God gave him every dimension, every measurement on what he wanted to do. Noah was not a builder.
Yeah.
Noah wasn't a carpenter, man. so exactly. Nehemiah is not a carpenter. He was a cupbearer.
Yeah.
And so, but we got to understand this, man. Just because you don't think you have that ability, God says, I didn't ask you that. God says, he went to God and said, well, God, this is what needs to be done. God, and so he says, though I'm not a carpenter, though I'm not a builder, but God, I know what needs to be done.
Oh, yeah.
And he went to God in prayer because of that, man.
Yeah.
And so, indeed, the king, because Nehemiah prayed to God and he was a godly man, he had the king eating out of his hand. He didn't even know it.
Man, the king was being influenced by God, didn't even know it.
That's it, man. That's it, man. And so,
he was being influenced. A lot of times, when you depend on God, he'll make people around you fall in line with you. Especially if it's to do his will. The king not only fell in line with him, he sent him some protection to go over there with him.
Right.
Yeah. He sent him some protection. He ain't asked for that.
He didn't ask for that. Man.
That goes to show you, God will give you more than what you need.
That's
it. The job done.
That's it, man.
He'll give you more than what you asked for, like you just said. He'll give you more than what you asked for.
And when you seek
the job done.
Yep, when you seek God's direction, man, he definitely will deliver, man.
Oh yeah,
he'll deliver. And so, man, and God will and most time will over deliver, man. So he'll say, you know what, just like you said, he gave him everything he needed, and he said, guess what? I'm gonna give you that, but I'm gonna send an army with you.
I'm gonna send an army with you.
I'm gonna send an army with you. And so,
yep.
And so, listen, y'all, we're going to be jumping around a lot in this because it covers a lot. But, man, I really want to get to this point. So, Kevin Sr. said this. He says, on our earlier point that we made, most people on jobs will not try to outserve you. So, you can't help but to stand out. And that's so true because people are going to see, like, I ain't doing. Well, what's the first thing when people say, oh, you doing too much? You're doing too much. So, they won't try to observe you, man. So you can't help but to stand out, man. Because if you
try to observe you,
that's right. Because if you kingdomizing your job and you dominating the workplace, that means you saying, you know what, man, I just want to do. So in other words, most companies, if not all, have core values, right?
Yeah.
So And a lot of times, those core values is going to focus not only for profit, also too for community too, because most employers that serve in the community, right, through their services that they offer, they really have to have those core values in place, and it has to also represent community. Right. So when you at a job and you're working, guess what? Not only do the service that the company that you work for is servicing the community in whatever capacity that is, now that's your opportunity to actually stand out and still represent the community. Now, mind you, we can do it on our own as well, on our own time. Right. But guess what? But when you're kingdomizing, when we talk about kingdomizing, being a cupbearer in your job, at home, and at your church, and in your community, guess what? That all falls into place, because not only will your job do work in the community that you can attach yourself to, but your church, who also does work in the community, you can attach to that. Yeah. And then on your own time, when you can serve in the community, guess what, man? Now you're dominating. Yeah. You're dominating. Yep. But you have to be willing to attach yourself to that, because we got to be willing, right, D? Here we go. Here we go.
Got to be willing.
Got to be willing to work willing at whatever you do, as though you're working for the Lord rather than people.
Yeah.
So, man,
if we start working for people, man, we'll never get nothing done, because people, man, gonna flip flop on you all the time. So you can't put that in the mix. You got to be doing this for God only, and for your community.
That's it, man. That's it. Somebody's put this: be the best at whatever you are doing, and do it with character and integrity while serving others. That's dominating.
Yeah. That's it. Who wrote that? I like that.
I want to say it was a Sister Christie that said that. And so, nope, that's Kevin Sr. And
I like that.
Somebody said work is unto the Lord, and that is to the end. That's Brother Carswell. Yeah, one of my Job Corps peeps.
I like the way I see his name up there. I like that. They all need to do that so I can see.
That's it, man. Well, some days I can see, some days I can't. Okay. So. And man, we got to understand this thing. And so I want to get to this point, D. So now that Nehemiah got he knows what needs to be done. He's prayed to God. God is providing. And that's another point. God will provide when you have a passion, brothers, sisters, I'm talking to somebody. When you have a passion to do something and it falls into the will of God, God will provide everything that you need, even though you have no idea how that's going to happen. But God will provide exactly what you're going to need, and God will over-deliver. And so we got to understand this thing, man. Whenever your passion is to help and serve people, when you think about people who start businesses, why do you think they're successful? When they're successful, because their heart is to serve people. So because their passion is the heart to serve people, it's successful, because guess what they're doing? They dominate that realm, right? They dominate that area. So therefore it's going to be successful, because if they want to serve people, they're not going to let it fail.
Nah. And then it's going to expand.
It's going to expand. It's going to expand. I'm telling you, man, this is something I wanted to get to. So Nehemiah got everything he needs, D.
Everything.
Nehemiah says, "Yeah, baby, I'm getting ready to go rebuild these walls." and guess what? It says it pleased the king to send him. Yeah. So listen, that's deep. Let me tell you why that's deep. Because the cupbearer was the man who tested the wine to make sure it wasn't poison, right? He guarded that cup. And so now he says, I'm sending my most loyal and trustworthy servant away from me to go serve a community that I really know nothing about. And listen, the king wasn't a godly person either. So come on, y'all. And so listen, I'm gonna put this up there, because man, this is good. Proverbs 21:1 says, the king's heart is like a stream of water directed by the Lord, and he guides it wherever he pleases.
So pretty much you said God made him to go with the flow, huh?
So there you go. The God made him go with the flow. That's a t-shirt. So God made him go with the flow. And we got to understand this thing. So, but guess what though? We can't be, I want to get to this other point though, but we can't be, Deep. So, this ain't a cuss word, y'all. You can't be hell raisers on your job and then go to your boss and expect to have favor with him, right? So you can't do it, right? You can't do it. You can't do it, man. You can't be the one that says I'm ready to buck the system. Buck the system. Get ready to buck the system.
I'm gonna tell my supervisor, give him a piece of my mind.
Exactly. And then go to him, hey boss, I want to go do some work in the community. You think you can give me some time? Nope. So that's why it's so important, man. When you dominating, I ain't saying you got to go, be a kiss up. I ain't saying you got to do all that.
Right.
Just dominate. That's it. That's dominate. And you ain't even got to tell people, look what I've done. No. Look what I did, y'all. Look all this work I put in. You ain't got to do it. So listen, I gotta put this brother on blast. Carswell, I gotta put him on blast. This brother had a training from 8:30. He had worked till midnight night before. Had to be at a training from 8:30 to 3. Brother left, came back, and finished his shift up to midnight again. So I said, oh yeah, you got the money. That brother said, no, man, it's for the kids. I'm like, man, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And that's how you dominate, man, because people see that. Yeah. He don't have to go brag and be like, man, I work 24 hours, I work 12, 13 hours a day. He ain't got to say all that because people see it. But we understand this thing. We got to understand this thing, man. It's dominating. So guess what, y'all? When you begin to dominate your realm of influence, Nehemiah saw a problem that needed to be fixed, right? So a problem needed to be fixed. But D, watch this. Now on his way, he saw the governors. Here's the letter from the king. Let me pass. Here we go, D. Here's letter from the king. Let me pass. All right. He went to the man with all the trees. His letter from the king. He gave me all the wood and all the lumber that I need to fix it up. Yep. But then it says, when Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel. Oh, they hate them, the haters. Them the haters right there, Deke. Them the haters right there, man. They waiting on him. Deke. You gonna always have haters around, man. Deke. They're gonna be quiet haters or they're gonna be verbal haters. Deke. Way they haters. Yeah. Deke. So listen to this, y'all. They hating because guess what? When you seek to fix something that everyone else was used to seeing broken, you will have some opposition. Man. Ain't it funny how people like to see broken people broken, stay broken? Listen, I'm talking about somewhere, y'all. I'm talking about somewhere. So when you seek to fix something that everyone else was used to seeing broken, you will have opposition. Because think about this. That city was broken down for so long. Those walls were torn down for so long. They got used to seeing it like that. And I imagine they got used to seeing it like that. And so now we got to understand this thing because now that he said, I'm going to go fix this thing up. Now all of a sudden, now imagine people walk by it every day. The same old wall, same old gates burned down, same old wall. Don't nobody do nothing about that. It looks bad, you know. Same old empty parking lot where GM used to be. Yeah. I remember where Kroger's was right there. I remember where Hamidy's was right there. I remember these buildings broken down. I remember how it used to look. But then someone says, you know what, man? Let's make it positive. Let's only talk positive. Let's only think positive. Oh, right. You doing too much. I ain't talking about nobody, y'all. Let's speak positivity into it. Because you ain't talking about nobody. You ain't talking about nobody, but you talking about somebody. I ain't talking about nobody, D. And so you're gonna face opposition because some people are used to seeing things so broken. Yeah. That when somebody wants to come fix it and do something positive, it gets talked about negatively. You doing too much. Oh no, what you gonna do? And it goes to the point that they even went to start laughing at this man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Nehemiah said, you know what though? Because when we got to understand it at the end of the day, man, as scripture says, we not going against people at the end of the day.
No, we're going against,
we fight against principalities and powers of darkness and things and spiritual wickedness in high places.
Yes, sir.
We not facing people, y'all. So when those people are coming at you and saying, "Oh, you doing too much," or even on your job, "Oh, you doing too much," "Oh, you doing this," why y'all trying to fix this? There ain't nothing been wrong with it. Or that's not how we used to do it.
That's a famous one right there. That's a famous one right there. That ain't how we do.
That's not how we do it.
We used to seeing it broke down like that.
That's not what we do around here.
That ain't what we do around here.
So man, when you all facing that stuff, man, just remember this. It ain't them. They not hating on you, man. That's just the opposition, right? That's the enemy, man. Y'all fighting against the enemies. Y'all can fight against spirituality of wickedness, man. You're not fighting against.
You can't waste your time fighting against it because it'll throw your concentration off the tasks that need to be done.
That's right.
You waste all your time fighting against something that's really not your battle.
That's it, man.
It's not your battle. It's the Lord. Let Him handle that. He'll handle that. You concentrate on the task at hand.
That's it.
And then the way to dominate your realm of influence is say, "Get ye behind me, Satan. I'm going through this. I got this. Believe it. Put it in the air and move on." Yeah.
And listen, I a lot of times we can go into a situation, man, and we tell ourselves, you know what, man, I want to go in here and I'm gonna dominate, man. I'm gonna try to win this. I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to do this.
Yep.
That is awesome to do. And a lot of times, man, you may have a group of 50 people. You say, man, I just want to be an encouragement to these folks, man. Yep. I want to encourage these people. And you may go into it with that mentality, and you may say, man, nobody's really listening. Nobody's really paying attention. But I'm telling you right now, one person is.
Oh yeah.
So when I say this to say this, when Noah was building that ark, man, and what he was doing, we got to understand that what God was doing at that moment, though Noah would say, man, this is coming, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, but it was just Noah and his family that was on that ark, right? We got to understand that when you go out there, as long as you dominate your realm of influence, as long as you're dominating your marketplace, as long as you're dominating your home, as long as you're dominating that church, as long as you're doing those things, man, and it's not for your glory, but for God's glory, you understand this. There's somebody that sees that. There's somebody that's encouraged by it. And so you may not get those accolades on Facebook or awards or things of that nature, but guess what? Those things will come, though, because that's what God says. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all this righteousness and all these things will be added unto you, right? Kingdom of God, by the way. And so, but we got to understand this, man, that it's as long as you put your head down, keep moving forward, man. I'm telling you, those things will come. Somebody will see that. Somebody is encouraged by it. So, like I said, it may not be the masses, but guess what? It's going to be a lot. So your realm of influence,
goodness spread, man, like wildfire, man.
Just dominate.
It's dominate.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's all you got to do, man. Just dominate.
It'll spread.
So, Sister April, thanks for joining in this morning. Sister Elizabeth, thanks for joining in this morning. Sister April said that's because they are comfortable. If nothing changes. This is a spiritual war. That's it. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's a spiritual battle, man, because
that's what it is.
At the end of the day, man, that's what we're fighting against. And we lose focus when we try to focus on people.
Exactly.
And no matter what.
Waste all your time fighting against people.
Fighting against people, man.
Around the work still ain't done. So
that's right. That's it. That's it, man.
You gotta stay focused. You gotta stay focused, man.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Be intentional with your service. Sister April, be intentional with your service, and that is so key, man. And it's amazing.
It is.
And it's so hard, and it's amazing when you really put your mindset to do that. It's important that you stay prayed up and focused. Important.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of times we set out to do that, and a lot of times we allow ourselves to become distracted.
Man.
But we gotta get that focus back. So, because the intentionality of everything, God, guess what? God is intentional with everything He put in His Bible.
Yeah.
Is so intentional.
Off the most deep.
What's that?
What people say.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of times what people say, but they ain't got to do nothing. They just say something and throw us off if we let them.
Man, and so, Deke, you're right. You're right about that one.
Yeah.
So, and because, man, we gotta. My wife sent me something yesterday, man, and I sent it out to a couple people, but it talked about we have to be comfortable who God made us, man. We got to be comfortable who God made us to be, and we have to embrace that. And when we don't do that, man, we try to be what other people expect us to be, versus what God made us to be.
Exactly.
And when we start to do that, and you say, but when you focus on who God made you to be, and you are intentional with your service, man, I'm telling you, man, it's something different. Yeah. Something different, man. Because now you operating freely, baby. I mean, Sister April, we thank you for that, man. Thank you for that. And so it's be intentional with your service. Brother Jill said, when we rise above emotions into thinking of God, it keeps us focused on the real mission and elude all distractions. That's it. That's it, man.
Oh yeah, that's the key. Eluding distractions. Yep. That's the key.
D, I wish I could put somebody. So I think they comment on my page versus a coffee with Diga, but she says, if you're doing it for an audience and not the kingdom, we will miss the mark. Man, I'm telling you, if she said if you're doing it for an audience and not the kingdom, we will miss the mark. That's it, man. As April said, because if you're doing what you're doing for an audience, I'm telling you, you will miss the mark. You'll miss the mark like Shaq missed free throws.
Oh yeah, you gonna miss that.
So you gonna miss that, baby, man. That's awesome.
You gonna miss that.
That's awesome. So, man, listen, y'all. But we understand that as Nehemiah began to do the work, and Nehemiah went out at night. So we gotta kind of end this up. So Nehemiah went out at night with nobody with him, just a few men, and he said, I only took the beast that I rode up on. So he said, I took just of what I had. So he kept his circle tight. Yeah. When he went out at night, he kept his circle tight. And so he went out to assess the damage, right? He went out to look at the gates, look at the walls, and see exactly what needed to be done. And so when he came back, he hadn't told nobody what God had put up on his heart. But then he met with all the nobles and all these other people, and the priests and all these other people. He met with all these people now and began to tell what needed to be done. And the people said this. And he says, then I told them of the hand of my God, which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. So, man, I tell you what, I want to encourage everybody to do this, man, because there's people on here that does a lot of work in the community. There's people on here that are making their mark in the community. There's people here that's making their mark on their jobs. There's people here that's making their mark in their families. But I want to leave y'all with this, man, and let us rise up and build, right? Let us rise up and build relationships. Let us rise up and build communities. Let us rise up and build those bridges, man, that seem to be broken, right? Because at the end of the day, we have to rise up and build. And so, man, when we think about that, man, if that's when we wake up in the morning, our mindset, let's rise up and build whatever that is, right? And so that's it, man. Because when you're on your job, listen, let us rise up, build those relationships on your job, man. Because guess what? When you stand out on your job, man, and you able to go to the person who's over the place or whatever, or if you're not the person who's over the place, right? Because you might have somebody come to you, and so and say, well, man, you know what? I want to go do this. man, I'm telling you, when you have God on your side, man, as we said earlier, he takes the king's heart and it flows however God wants it to flow.
Oh yeah, it's gonna go the way God wanted to go. Yeah.
So in other words, we have no excuses, man. We have no excuses.
None.
So Sister April, she says, man, put me in the game, coach. Man, sis, I wish I wish you would have jumped on earlier, man. We would have told had you join us this morning. So, but man, listen. So deep. Just want to end with this, man. When we talk about being kingdomizing your community, we mean that wherever you go, that's where the glory of God should be, right?
Yeah.
So that's wherever you go, that's where the glory of God should be.
Yeah, you can't say, "Well, Lord, I'm going to go to work now, but I'll be back. You stay here till I get back." No. The Holy Spirit is within you. God is with you. So, wherever you go.
That's it, man.
Yeah, you got to carry him with you.
It's impossible to unite under divisiveness. Either we are multiplying, adding, or dividing and subtracting. Either we are for and with God or for and with Satan. That's true. That's it, man. That's it. Brother Jaleel. So, I just want to throw this out there. If you comment if you go on the Coffee with the Deacons site and comment, I'm able to put the comments on the screen. But if you're under my page, I can't put them on the screen because I only can see them on my phone.
Yeah, so go to the Coffee with the Deacons.
Yeah, go to the Coffee with the Deacons page and view it from there and make comments. I'll be able to put them on the screen because some of these comments, man, I really want to get on the screen. So, it says, "Make the mark, rise up and build. Let God be the glory." This is so powerful. It's Sister Christy. And so, man, this is the thing, man. We want to make sure that we just encourage everybody. And like I said, we actually working on something with Brother Carswell, and I'm not gonna throw it out there yet because that's for him. But working with something with him, man, and which is gonna be awesome, man. Definitely in prayer for that. Yeah. And so when that comes about, man, we'll make sure we make that announcement.
Yeah.
But definitely, man, we want to make sure that we always dominate our realm of influence wherever we are. And as we said, my final words is this. Like I've said it before. Wherever you are, that's where the glory of God should be.
That's where it should be.
Because that's what it means when we talk about letting your light show shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father. That's what that talks about.
Yeah.
What you got, D?
Hey, let's stay focused and let's shut out the outside distractions. That's why you have to keep your circle tight.
That's it. That's it, man.
So you won't get distractions, and because all distractions gonna do is take time away from you dominating your realm of influence.
That's right. Yeah, that's it.
Let's door off the distractions and keep it moving.
That's it, man. Yeah. That's it, man. And
stay positive, stay focused.
Stay positive, stay focused. That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Wherever you are, that's where the glory of God should be. That's it, man.
Well, sometimes I'm gonna have to be honest with you. Sometimes the ones closest to you could throw your focus off too, if you allow it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who needed to hear that, but maybe it was me that needed to hear that. But that's a true fact. The ones closest to you sometimes will throw your distraction off. Don't let it happen. Just stay focused. Stay positive.
That's right, man. That's it. And I want to throw this out there, man. As Deke said, and staying positive is that's you have to be intentional with that. Sister April said.
Definitely got to be intentional.
Got to be intentional with that.
Yep.
That's it, man. You got to be intentional with that. That's the key word today. Intentionality.
Intentionality.
You got to be intentional in all that you do. You can't sit back and I've learned this, man. It took a while, but I learned this. You can't sit back and wait for something to happen. You make it happen.
Yeah.
So
you got to stir the pot up sometime.
You make it happen, man. So
when you don't stir the pot, the beans stick to the bottom of the pot. So you got to stir it up.
So listen, y'all. I'm supposed to be at work 11 o'clock, y'all. So
you're gonna dominate when you get there, D.
That's right, man. It's my day off anyway, so it don't matter. But so this is the key thing, man. Just dominate wherever you are, y'all.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody joining in this morning, man. Appreciate all the comments, man.
We really do.
I'm loving this series. We're probably gonna be on it for a little while. Dominating your realm of influence. And so just want to make sure that we stay positive, man. Dominate where you are. and be okay to say no if it doesn't align with Kingdom Build. Ooh! Since April, we got to get off. We got to get off. She keep putting these nuggets out here. She said, yep, and be okay to say no if it doesn't align with Kingdom business. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So,
we might have to put her in the game, D.
Man, yeah, we got to, man. We got to put her in the game, man. Got to put her in the game, man. So, got to put her in the game. And so, we got to, man. Be okay to say no if it doesn't align with Kingdom business. That's it, man.
Yeah,
that's it. Eliminate it.
Yeah.
Oh, and also two announcements. Number one, Pastor Hawkins will be preaching over at Joy Tabernacle tomorrow for their anniversary. So please go over to that. And Sister April, if you can, please put the address on our comments and Coffee with the Deacons. Mm-hmm. And so please put in the comment for the address over there, Joy Tabernacle. And so Pastor Hawkins will be preaching over there for their I believe Pastor McCatherine's anniversary.
Is it the 21st?
Tomorrow, 20th. So, yep.
No,
so
21st anniversary.
Oh, yeah, 21st anniversary. Yeah, 21st anniversary. Yep. So, that's tomorrow. And then, shameless plug. Y'all know it's coming. Stop playing. Y'all know it's coming. So, please, if you ever need a church home, NTC Church, 3484 Belsey Road, Burton, Michigan, 48519. That's the zip code. Worship begins at 9:30 sharp. 9:30 sharp. So you walk in at 9:30. You walk in at 9:40. You probably you done miss half the devotion. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
NTC Church, 3484 Belsey Road. Join us tomorrow, man. So, and guess what? Even if you come there and visit, you still have enough time to get the Joy Tabernacle. So you still have enough time to get the Joy Tabernacle, which is at 2505 North Chevrolet. 2505 North Chevrolet. So he'll be over there preaching for their 21st, for Pastor McCatherine's 21st anniversary. So please, if you can make it, please make it there. And if you want to come to join, come to visit MTC, guess what? You'll be out in time to get there.
Yes,
trust me,
yes,
guarantee
sir.
that.
Yes,
so, all right, y'all. So we appreciate all the comments, and please share this, like this, and please put the hashtag CWTD, Coffee with the Deacons, and we appreciate it, man. We love y'all, and peace out till next week.
Deuces.
Peace.